morning.
Good morning.
While they leave, I'll make a dramatic effort of taking my sweater off. It's so warm in here and wonderful. And a big thank you to Terry Hennon and to Larry Meyer for getting us back in church and comfortable and cozy. I'm not sure we always know all the angels that are among us. We are thankful. So I'll ask your forgiveness this morning. I started at, I don't really know what time, but drove back from a quick visit to see my daughter in St. Louis. I think I left at 5, so I just pulled up. But I'm super glad to be here in our warm sanctuary and have the opportunity to talk about stewardship this morning with you. Nobody likes to talk about money. My parents certainly told me that was bad form in public, so, or with anyone. But it is good to talk about what we value, and we do every day place our money in things that we value. So, you know, last week it was really stormy and rainy, and it makes you turn a little bit inward. I couldn't quite as quickly every morning get the covers off me. It's like, oh, it's really good in here. And, you know, you recharge a little, but it did get a little long last week. And one of the things it really made me think of when it got that way last week was I had shelter. I was warm. I was dry. I had shelter in the storm. My family had shelter in the storm. We had a place to live, love, learn, and grow. It didn't change because it was raining. You know, most of the people, many or most, gathered here today have chosen to be stewards of our church, to give financially, and that's what we're talking about today. And we do it all for different reasons. We come to that decision, whether it's a tradition, whether it's an inspiration in your life, an obligation perhaps, but our collective decision to be stewards here at First Congregational provides over 60% of the funds required to operate the church, which is primarily to take care of, maintain, and service our building. And because we are an organization and many have full-time jobs and full-time lives, we have an amazing staff that keeps everything rolling for us every week. And those are the two things we pay for each year with our pledges at First Congregational. The remainder of that obligation is fulfilled by a very generous donation made each year for several years now by our endowment fund, about 16% of our overall, and then from rental income, which is about 10% of our overall, and then special events and some other special gifts. So our support is super important in terms of the annual budget we approve every February to keep the doors open, the lights on, and yes, the heat on. So, I remember hearing from a pastor at the pulpit a long time ago that "be not afraid" is the most frequently repeated phrase in the Bible. And I have not counted it, I have not verified it, but I do believe it must be true. And that phrase has really resonated with me, especially as I continue to do more and more adulting. I think most of us adults might agree that the world can be a very scary place. We live in an age of anxiety where it feels like the next threat may be just around the corner. An illness, a personal financial crisis, the death of a loved one, an unspeakable tragedy, societal violence and prejudice, and or just a general depression or anxiety about it all. It's really hard in this world not to be afraid, maybe even very afraid. But God says, "Be not afraid," and he says it a lot. And I'm quite sure he's not telling us there is a way to make fear go away. The feeling of fear will present itself to us throughout our lives, I have no doubt. What I do believe, though, is that he's telling us not to be the fear. Be not afraid. Have the feeling, recognize the feeling, but don't put it in the driver's seat. Don't make your life decisions by stepping off from fear. Don't let your anxiety bend your relationships into a fraction of what they could be. Just feel that fear when it shows up, because it will, but don't be it. Each of us finds a way to process our fear and place that emotion somewhere so it just doesn't feel so bad. Some people put their fear in the bottom of a bottle, a social media rant, or in a numbing Netflix binge. Some people find a way to give their fear to God. But that does not just magically happen. People need to be taught how to do this. They need to be led and guided. I mean, I'm speaking for myself, not the people. Me. We need to be gently corrected and encouraged. But we do and we can learn how to do it. And I submit that in doing this, we learn how to live. So is it possible that our church, this building and the people in it, is an amazing shelter in the storm that is life? Our members, our friends, anyone who chooses to walk through the doors is welcome to seek with us a spiritual way of learning, of living, and connecting that offers shelter for our tender hearts as we walk through the joys and perils of each new day. So if that's true, how is the church a shelter? Yes, it's about the physical place. It's about all that we have to do and we give so generously to accomplish to keep the building here. But it's also about being together in a different way. This isn't a restaurant, it's not a bar, it's not a theater, it's not a school. These are all places we certainly support with our money. And I can just tell you kind of my story with the church. I've always come in the need of inspiration on Sunday, looking for guidance from a pastor's message. At one point early in my membership in church and here, I was invited to be more active and participate in leadership on the board of Christian Ed, where I made friendships and deeper connections. Together with my kids, I've done a lot of hands-on work, serving food, washing cars, and even building houses. Never cooking food, I didn't say that. My children have gone on mission trips near and far. One year I participated. I can't believe you're here. I mean, if I read my email, but one year I participated in an Advent study that literally taught me how to pray. Thank you, Reverend John Gibbon. You're here. I can say that right now because this was life-changing for me. I can also share that I got to participate in a spiritual life team taught by Dr. Bobby McKay, and many of us did, that taught me how to pray with other people. Amazing. I can tell you that easily my greatest opportunity to grow spiritually has been participating in church leadership in several capacities. Most recently as the chair of the Board of Trustees. This work is a joy because I enter into deeper relationship with fellow members. I exercise my ability to be patient, creative, and kind, and I comprehend that the opportunity to serve is a gift. This work is a challenge because there certainly are not enough hours in the week for a single working mother, and I have filed my complaint with the big meal. But that's okay. Today I invite you to give. I invite you to give as you are able. I invite you to participate, to think about what you fund in your life that's important to you, to know that your dollars are needed here. Our story's not done. We have amazing elders in our congregation right now that find amazing fellowship in the Heritage Bunch and in different ways. We have amazing people that have come before us. I've only, through growing in my leadership role, come to appreciate how much they've done. And right now we have new people joining our congregation, new ideas, but what is true always are the people and the variety and the housing of a multitude of ideas and opinions under one roof to feed our spirits toward kindness, love, and connection, and not towards separation, fighting, and frustration. And what we learn here, we can take home. We make a brighter light in our heart that shelters us from everything that is scary. So please stay with our church, stay with the mission. We know we've got lots to do. A pastor to find, a building to improve, lots to do. You're important and we are too. So thank you for your time. I'm so glad you're here, John. And call me for sure if you have any questions too.